I was recently sharing with someone our homeschool journey, and I was reminded of the period in our journey where I had this homeschool awakening to the possibilities of what I was able to do as a homeschooler. So just a recap, I started homeschooling in 2022. So at this point in 2023, I haven't been homeschooling for a complete year as yet. So it's January 2023. I have a medical emergency at the end of January, which caused me to have to go and fly into Nassau to see the doctor. While we're there, the Bahamas Homeschool Association was hosting a Valentine party for the families. And so we joined in with that. And that was such a beautiful experience because this was the first time that we were experiencing activities with other homeschool families. I was so happy the boys got to experience that because it showed them that, we're not alone in this. There are other people elsewhere, everywhere, doing this as well. Little did I know that this was the beginning of so much more to come. So that was February 15th. And I'm giving you dates so that you can see how much ground we covered in just a few days. Okay. On February 17th, I decided to take the boys to Educulture. I think I called like a day or two before and asked about coming in. I had to explain that we're homeschoolers. And that's another thing I found. Most people are familiar with school groups. So not everybody understands when you say homeschoolers that will be children with their parents. So I explained it's just myself and my two boys. We live in Abaco. I'm in Nassau. Can we come in and do a tour? Educulture is a Junkanoo museum and a resource center, among many other things. And they specialize in presenting on history and culture of the Bahamas, but particularly about Junkanoo. And so I arranged with them. On February 17th, we went there and we had such a time. And this was also a new experience for my boys because they had never seen a Junkanoo parade before. They had never, other than like me playing Junkanoo music or like teaching them about it. And so they were able to see like all the costumes from when Junkanoo started. They also saw like artifacts, like how people way back used to iron and all those things. And it was such a beautiful experience at Educulture. Oh, and by the way, the lady that did the tour, like she was just absolutely amazing, and she treated us like we were a whole school, no corners cut. We get out of Educulture. And I was like, okay, well, we outside. Let's take a stroll, right? We start walking, and next to Educulture is the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas. Well, when I thought of art galleries, I thought of aristocrats looking at some abstract art, sipping on cocktails with a bougie fake laugh, like, I was wrong. I was so wrong. I didn't even think that we could just go there. I thought like you had to have an appointment or like it had to be an event. We get to the security gate and I'm like sheepishly asking the security, like, we could go inside. He's like, yeah, go right there, go right there. Okay. So we go inside to like there's like a little store, bookstore, souvenir shop. And that's also where you purchase your tickets to go into the art gallery. And so I'm sharing my thoughts with the two young people that were working in there. Both of them shared the same sentiments that so many people come in and that's what they think. Like this is for somebody else. The fee was like, I think for under 12 at the time, they were free. And for me, it was like seven to $10. I think it was $7. And on Sundays, it's free. And they shared with me how youth groups would come in on Sunday or like sometimes people come in after church. And both of them were just sharing how so many people come in and just did not know. So after that conversation and, I just did my payment, we went over into the gallery. And at the time, there was the exhibition of Antonius Robert, he's a Bahamian artist, was Art, Ecology, and Sacred Spaces. Oh my goodness. We have a video of that on this channel as well. Also, we have a video of the Educulture experience as well. We spent hours at the art gallery. We also stopped, we had lunch because we had taken our lunches. And then after lunch, we went into the sculpture garden right there at the National Art Gallery. And I'm walking around this place and I'm so amazed that for so long, like I just saw like certain places as like off limits. And I left the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas that day with a complete shift in my mindset as to what was possible for me as a homeschooler now. In that moment, I was like, the world is ours. It's literally ours. Like we can go anywhere. We can do anything. thing that we want to do when it comes to what we want to share with our children, where we want to go, what we want them to experience. That's what I'm talking about. Where we're done with the National Art Gallery, I'm like, well, where else can we go? So we walk down the street. Great Cliff is there. Now, Great Cliff has a cigar company, they have a chocolatier, and then there's a five-star restaurant and a hotel. We go into the chocolatier and we start talking with the staff in there. Some are preparing chocolates, some are working the front area. Once again, I'm sharing my sentiments like, I didn't know you can just, and we're all talking. They're like, yeah, people don't really know. Like a lot of people don't know that you could just come, and a tour had just started when we got there. We booked for that Sunday. So that Sunday, myself, my two boys, and my mother, we all went to the Great Cliff Chocolatier. We have a video for that as well. That Sunday as well, we also went to the National Heritage Museum, which is right through the same corner where the Great Cliff is. And so at the National Heritage Museum, we did that tour. I don't remember what the fee was there, but once again, it was none of these were like $30 a person, nothing like that. I'm talking about like $5 to $10 per person. At the National Heritage Museum, any and everything pertaining to Bahamian culture was represented in some way in there. We have a video for that on our channel, is on this channel as well. It was just such a beautiful experience. I'm talking about from the animals that are now extinct, that were once common in Bahamian waters or on our shores, artifacts from travelers who explored the Bahamas, to artifacts about slavery, also how the Bahamian people have progressed. There was a wall of fame of Bahamians who had done so many different things in the world, from Olympians to writers to prime ministers. There was so much in there about just what the museum says, national heritage. There was just so much in there.
Whoa, look at this! Look at this!
Cadbury's. Mommy, this like the original packaging for Cadbury. Mommy, well, you don't see no packaging. You remember no packaging? Lifebuoy soap. I know about Lifebuoy soap. I don't see the packaging. Mommy, Kodak film. I remember the Kodak in the box, not the exact same box, but I remember that.
Started like this, but that's how it got the end up.
I found this clip as I was editing. On that Sunday, we also took the boys to the straw market. We did a tour in there, and the boys also got to talk with one of the wood carvers, which was very significant for them because they both like to create things with their hands. And so this was one of those very special moments as well.
So I'm on fire now, y'all. I'm like, we went to Educulture. We've been to the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas. We did Great Cliff Chocolatier. Excuse me. We did the National Heritage Museum. So I was like, okay, let's see what else we can do. So on the 26th of February, my grandmother's church in Nassau had family day. And years ago, when she was alive, and when I was a little girl especially, every year their family day, as much of us in the family would, try to go. And of course, as everybody grew up and people moved here, there, and everywhere, things change. And so because we were in town and other family was around, a group of us decided, well, let's go and support the family day. They would have the church service, and then afterward they have like a big like fellowship meal, and then they also had like a bounce and castle and other activities for the children and stuff like that. So that was another like experience that I had as a child, and I was happy that my children could experience that as well. March 3rd, I take the boys to the Pompeii Museum, and we get there talking to the ladies who work there. I think the Pompeii Museum was like $2 for me and $1 each for the boys. And because I remember asking the ladies, like, that's it? They were like, yeah, it's for the people. And so we get in, there's so much information on the history of the Bahamas. It was too much to write down. Like I was trying to like take pictures of information so that I can like go back and read it. It was a lot. And so upstairs, this was the most beautiful thing about the Pompey Museum at this time. Upstairs, they have this life-size display of the Lucayans, how they live. So they had like two Lucayans. They also had like the actual like life-size display of the people themselves, of the way that they prepared their food, all of that. The actual vocabulary is slipping me right now, but it was just beautiful. And then they had quite a bit of like these like mini billboards with all this information about the Lucayans, the way they lived. Then they also had artifacts as well, some actual artifacts and then others replicas. And then they also had a virtual reality room, but it was more for audio, where you could listen to this dissertation about the Lucayans. It was a very creative presentation. And so while we're doing that, we were just about done doing that. I hear like a band music. And so I was like, okay, well, what's happening? So we step out, we look outside, we go back downstairs, we look outside, and there is like a state funeral procession coming out of the Christchurch Cathedral. Christchurch Cathedral is the first built church in the Bahamas. The first building was built in 1670. So we stand out there, and the boys, they're able to watch all the police and defense force officers line up. Of course, everybody is in all of their regalia. There were also lots of government officials as well. And so we followed the procession into Rawson Square. They get to watch all of the formalities and everything. They got to take pictures with police officers and defense force officers, because at this point, nothing is off limits for us, right? This was March 3rd. That's not it. So that's Pompey Museum. And now they get to see the procession of or for a state funeral. So we left there, and I'm like, Christchurch Cathedral, like the funeral just ended. Let's go and see if the boys can go inside and take a look. And so we go back, we walk over there to Christchurch Cathedral, and we go to the foyer area, and this lady comes to the door, and she's like, "We've already closed up." And I said, "Ma'am, we're here from the island. I just want the boy. I'm a homeschool parent. I just want the boys just to see like how it is." She was like, "Oh, come on, come on, come on." She's like, "But you got to move quickly because they already, cleaned up and what's not." She opened the doors. We were able to stand at the back of the sanctuary. And then we get out of Christchurch Cathedral. Right in the same alley as Christchurch Cathedral is Pirates of Nassau. So I'm like, we already out here. Y'all want to go to Pirates of Nassau? So they were like, yeah, we want to go, whatever, whatever. So we go to Pirates of Nassau. And I think the fee was like $7 for each of them, and about $14 for me. We go in there, we do the whole tour. If you've ever been to Pirates of Nassau, it is a beautiful experience for children to learn about that period in Bahamian history, piracy, and how we move from piracy on to more of what we know today as a modern civilization. A shanty town in the golden age of piracy, a place of refuge for all sailors.
It's so scary.
Okay, well, let's go. Uh-oh. So we're boarding the what? You are aboard the sloop Margaret Found. Oh, so we see Blackbeard's ship is coming. Ah, Blackbeard ship is attacking us. Look at them. Look at the pirates, Nathan. So we did that. We spent about 45 minutes there. We get out of there, and we walked down the street to Dunkin' Donuts, and then I took them to McDonald's. And at this point, I'm like, it makes no sense calling my mommy or my brother to come and pick us up, because both of the schools that they work to are not far from the downtown area where we were. So we're walking back up the hill. While we're walking up to his school, I see Antonius Roberts had a dedicated art gallery right on that same street. So we hop on over across the street and we go into that art gallery.
Okay, what would you call it, Machi?
Angel flags.
Angel flax?
I call it the spinning sea fan.
The spinning sea fan. Okay, why you said the spinning sea fan?
It looks all twisted up.
Oh, why would you say angel flax? I saw something.
Because look at this.
Don't touch it. Yes.
This looks like wings.
It does. It does look like angel's wings.
And then the angel is like something like this. Something. I don't know.
It's a good. That's a good Let me find, baby. Leave me hanging.
And so we got out of there and continued walking up the hill to where my brother was working. And my brother, at the time, at the school, was teaching electronics and robotics. The boys got to go into his classroom and he like did a demo for them. They were able to play with the robots. And that was right up their alley because they both love robotics and science and all things STEM. And all of this happened on March 3rd. So March 3rd was Pompey Museum, Christchurch Cathedral, the procession, and Pirates of Nassau, and my brother's classroom. While we're on the way home, we passed Mortimer's Candy Kitchen. So I was like, hold up, turn around, let me go back there. So Mortimer's Candy Kitchen is the oldest candy shop in the Bahamas. They started in 1928. So we went in, we got information on a potential tour. So we booked for that Monday and we were going to be leaving the next day. So we did that on March 7th. So I'll get back to that. But before March 7th, on March 5th, we all went to Clifton Heritage Park. And so Clifton Heritage Park is once again lots of history. And I was so grateful that my boys were able to experience that. And of course, as you can imagine, those types of experiences cause you to have deep conversation. It causes you to have the hard conversations and it causes you to ask hard questions. But I think what came out of that, out of the Clifton Heritage Park field trip and the National Heritage Museum field trip, was an understanding of where we've come from, who we are now, and what we want to be. We're not going to waste the sacrifice of the people who have gone before us by just not doing anything and not contributing well to society, you know? Back now to, or moving forward, to our trip to Mortimer's Candy Kitchen. They are still making the candies with the same methods, the same machinery, or the same type of machinery that they used from way back when. Like that was so nostalgic. Like, it was just such an experience. And so people were there. You know, they had the long strips of candy and they're cutting it up.
She puts it through the machine.
Did y'all get all those dates? Like it would. Let me go through these dates again. We're talking about February 15th, February 17th, February 19th, 26th, the 3rd, the 5th and the 7th. So that's like what, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. And we were able to do all of that. I hope that this inspires you. If you are a homeschool parent, the world is yours. It does not even take a whole lot of money. I totaled up all of those different things that we did, and I think I got like less than $60 because, like I said, there were a couple things I put a price there, but the boys could have been free. So if you are in the Bahamas, if you're in Nassau, go and there's so many things to do in New Providence, Nassau and New Providence. If you live on another island outside of Nassau, like we do, you will be surprised to know the history sitting right next door, maybe in a neighbor, the type of work that they did, visiting the fishermen, visiting the boat builders. That's what the homeschoolers here we did recently. We went to Manawar Key, where they visited the boat builders here. Even now, I'm thinking, like, where can we go next? What can we do next? What can they experience next? The possibilities are endless. So that was the week of my homeschool awakening. And that really propelled me into just opening every door possible that I can for my children. Parents, go take your children and explore your world. Okay? Bye.